dun, dun. Hold on. Why are you unavailable? There we go. Hold on. There we go. Hey, Frost. Oh, I hope you have a good day at work, though. Alright, turn this down in my head. Alright. Ooh. Well, be careful. Don't hurt yourself working. I am going to draw the CEO of Big Burgerz. There is old artwork of her that I want to check, though. I don't think I'll be using it, but I do want to look at it. Just to be sure of something. Oh no. Where did I put it? It might be in sketches. Yeah, it's in sketches. Oh yeah, it looks way different than what I have planned. Maybe I can take bits and pieces of this one and apply it to the new one. Yeah, I saw it. It was alright. I wish it was more of a full picture rather than just her torso. Uh, I see. I mean, I haven't even drawn the character yet, so if I ever get around to doing that. I will promise nothing. I definitely don't want to do something that ends up not working for the character. Oh no, I put up the link the way I normally do when I stream, and it just wasn't available yet for whatever reason. Okay, how are we doing this? Can shape more of her as we go along. No, she's not a raccoon. She is a wolf. Though I do think I want to curve this more. just redo that part. I'm likely to make more tweaks to her as I go along. Also, what would Raccoon fit? What kind of myth does Raccoon fit into for this? That in later. Just kind of drawing it out so I can get the rest of her. I've never heard of that. If it's like your own headcanon thing, then that's probably why I'm lost. Because I've never heard of that. But if it is a thing, I've still never heard of it. Oh, you're likely just grabbing a random joke, dude. Especially if you're going off of Good Burger. Like, Nostalgia Critic does jokes like that all the time. But no worries. And he probably could have got it from something else too. Probably from like cartoons that usually did stuff like that. So it could have been from that. Let's see. What hair do I have like that? No. No, no hat. I'm gonna be doing mini tweaks to her over the course of this. Fix that. I see. I know what I'm missing. It's one of those situations where you gotta draw it out first. Or draw out part of it first and then see the direction that you really want to go. Took a moment. I was like, I know something's missing here. And now I know what it was. It happens. Yeah, it's one of those situations where you just gotta draw it first and then scrap it after you understand what you were missing. Sometimes I'll save the scrap stuff, but most of the time it's just more of like, look at it first and then you're like, oh yeah, now I know what it was. And in this case it was more like, I wanted her to look more assertive. Like assertive, but also like she doesn't care at the same time. Where it's kind of like business as usual. Actually, just tilt her head just a little bit. And often that's just the process. Like, there have been times where I've drawn a character fully and still didn't like what I ended up with, and just ended up redrawing it later. This one right here. I'll think about it. And it could be just like I was trying to keep the cheeks as well, but then I might have to end up changing that because it just doesn't fit where I'm going. You know what? Let's see. I see. I see what was missing. Can I go forward? Yeah. that. Swap this. It won't matter because some of this will get drawn over. Hello. So we'll start up here first. There we go. Just for one of her eyes, we'll cover it up with her hair. How would I describe this character? Basically, she's more of like a rise up the ladders type of person, and she's like a little bit pissed because she's given a position where it's like, really, fast food, you want me to run this? And she's like constantly thinking like there's no real opportunities to be done when it comes to like food, until she comes across a situation where basically she ends up with like a #1 customer where they're just constantly going to big burgers and upping their profits, and so she ends up taking advantage of this. And she even like goes to see the customer personally just to kind of understand what exactly do they like about the food, and then she tries to improve it based off of their feedback. And then she starts, you know, doing more with the brand. I was gonna give her a thicker neck, but I think she's better with a slimmer one. We'll tweak her arm later. I just want to position it or draw it in first. But yeah, she's like in the mentality of let's do something let's do something about improving a position that she doesn't even like to begin with. And like when she'll have like other, you know, co-workers in the same type of business, or like, you know, it's like, oh, you know, I run fashion, blah blah blah. And so when they get to her, they're like, oh, what do you do? And she's like a bit embarrassed that she does fast food. But once everything starts picking up, then she's like, oh yeah, I made this much off of just one customer or something like that. And then do whatever she can to get more out of it. Actually, I don't like the way I did that. Just gonna have to take my time. This is one of those drawings you can't really speed through. At least not until you know what you're doing. Yes. Especially once she tries to make it more addicting. Or actually, that's more about like how it started in the first place, like just something with the recipe change to make it more addicting. But like one customer in particular showed like real signs of like constantly eating it, and so she takes that opportunity to figure it out. Especially if she runs like the whole... It's basically the scenario that happens with Tiffany in the in that weight gain sequence that's not canon. And so basically take that moment and make it canon with a different character. And then have the whole storyline with the CEO. Or if I want to go really crazy with her backstory, could say that she's more known for taking small businesses and just ramping them up dramatically. So like they're given like, oh hey, we're not doing so well. Could have like the main company of Big Burger be like, man, we're losing profits, or we're not getting enough people interested in buying burgers or whatever, and so they resort to calling her, which is like almost like she's almost like the boogeyman of business. And so when they do get in touch with her, she's like, all right, and comes to see what's up, and just improves everything. What do you mean by exotic piercing? Well, most of that would be no, because it just wouldn't fit the character. And then arm doesn't really make much sense. She will be wearing glasses. I just want to get the rest of her down first. Nah, I'm not gonna do the arm on the hip thing. Actually, it'd make more sense for her to have a briefcase with all of her plans. And it would make sense if she had like high contacts to help improve a business. Where it's like, alright, what's the problem with this place? And then make phone calls to whoever she needs to. Give her the same glasses that Red wears. Although reds were stolen. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. The whole thing is like, really? She works at a burger place? And she could be slightly annoyed of comments like that. There's so many different ways we can go about it. We can either make her like a feared businesswoman, or can make her like a businesswoman who's just like wasn't expecting to be thrown into a burger a burger franchise, and she's like trying to make the best of it. There could be a mix of column A, column B, where she's thrown into it, but then she like does everything she can to make it work. And she's like thrown into it because she is good at her job, but even with situations like that, she's like, fuck, what do I even do to make this happen? And that she does have like a few contacts which leads into the situations that the story would lead into. So there's multiple ways that can be done about this. Let's turn that down a bit. Messing with her glasses. No, she's not gonna roll up her business suit. And she's not gonna be showing much skin. She wants to be taken seriously. Like, if I put her in, like, extremely high role where she is feared and all that, I can totally see, like, she's trying to have, like, a conversation about raising profits. And then one of, like, her other high-position co-workers is, like, you know, checking her out. And I could totally see her making the comment saying, like, unless my ass is going to make this company go higher in profits, you better be paying the fucking attention. And then the guy just snaps back into the role. Or into like paying attention to what she's saying. She's just like no nonsense type of personality. And then you can see like another coworker like thinking of something snarky about what she just said, and then she can quickly make a comment about that too. Should be like, and get that idea out of your head, whatever other person's name is. So like she's just completely 100% knows the personalities of the people she works with, so that's why she can snap at them rather quickly. Almost like she's a mind reader, but she really just knows how they act. position of that finger. Well, luckily Andy doesn't work for Big Burgerz. So he will never have to come in contact with this person. Unless he gets a new job. This would probably be covered by her hair. Move this a little bit out of the way of her eye. I could see her being friends with Blake's older sister. Like nothing major happens, but like I could see her just like knowing her passively. Or even just like has her in her contacts or something. Oh, that's the fun part. You don't know me very well. There's so much other shit that I like to do. Some of them are teased in the collector's sets of both future and current characters. And the makeshift stuff where we just make stuff up that are not canon. I'm gonna have to make that more clear of what is and isn't canon. Because every once in a while some things get confused. So I'm gonna have to just start labeling things as not canon. Would be nice. Would be smart if I save this file. It did give you a name already. Cool. Saves me time. Started working on this. Let's tighten up her stomach a bit more. I can see moments like when she's on her lunch break, you can hear her coworkers like kind of whispering about her behind her back. Some of which you can hear, but she doesn't like make any comments about it. They were like, it's like, yeah, she's hot, but damn, she is such a bitch. And I could see her being like really organized and trying to do everything properly until she has to cross some lines to make shit happen. Yeah, of course high heels. That way when she's walking around, people know that she's nearby. And will shut the fuck up and get back to work. Also gives her a nice strut, kind of like in, if you've ever watched Agretzko. It's kind of like those moments with Sashimi and Gory. She's got to have her baddest bitch walk. We are drawing the CEO of Big Burgerz. bit of a facelift from her old concept art. More. I guess unless she doesn't like she's tilting. There's old artwork of her that I've made. Let's tighten our ass a bit. Well, she is wearing heels, so it would be facing that way, like that. I'll probably make it some standard colors, but like something a little bit more unique. Like I'm not gonna make her pink or anything like that. Even if she was pink, she wouldn't like it and probably dye her fur. Because nobody would take her seriously if she was pink. Take a moment. Kind of want them to be a little bit more pointy. There we go, that's why it looks weird. Bring this down more. I just need to slim down her legs more. I could also see her getting annoyed if, like, her fur were to poke out of her stockings. So she probably trim her fur so to the length where that doesn't happen. So let's do this first. I'll get there. Just trying to be more subtle about her ankles. There you go. I mean, that's literally what she is. In Sonic the Fighter, she had mixes of various characters' moves, so it just made sense that she could mimic or just simply do copycat. Of course, I did it first after Sonic Fighters. I still find it funny because in the RT comics, they had her showing up in the tournament that's won by Breezy, but it's all taking place in Casino Night, and I did literally the same thing, only that Honey was in charge and ran the fight, but it all takes place in Casino Night, and I did that years before Archie did it. And I know that I believe I posted it on Ian Flynn's forum back then. This was like back in like, I don't know, 2008 or something. So that just gave me a chuckle when that happened in the comics. I was like, yay! What direction do I want this in? I guess I'll do it this way. Put the big Burgerz logo on her. Might do a better version, let me see. Let me check what I did with. Tiffany's bag. Nah, that one doesn't have it. I think it was Blake that might have it. Yeah, Blake has it. Oh yes. Trying to give her a more like dominance approach. Like think of it in like think of her in like a scenario where she's like, you know, running a meeting and her male coworkers are, you know, eyeballing her, and she'll just make a comment like, you know, unless her ass is about to raise profit, unless looking at her ass is raising profits, then they better be paying attention to what she's saying. So she'll like quickly snap at them, and then she knows them well enough that she can pretty much predict how they'll react, and then still keep them in line. So like if she says that and then another coworker is thinking about, well, maybe her ass would bring profits, and then she'll quickly, you know, respond to that possible statement. It's basically just no nonsense with her. What does she need a thigh strap for? Let's try. Let's give this a shot and pray that it doesn't get taken out. Rather low skirt for her. Probably longer, let's be honest. It wouldn't be that low. But still rather low. It's like low enough to be sexy, but high enough to be professional. Let's curve this out a bit more. Like, she's the type where if she needed advice, she would ask Blake's older sister, Victoria. Because she just happens to know her. think the collar is like the collar and maybe an earring might be the most risque thing that she ever does. Aside from the skirt. The skirt is just kind of like a basic thing that is almost expected. Unless she feels like wearing straight pants. No, her literal older sister, foster sister, Victoria. The bird was her babysitter who became her sister-in-law when Blake's brother married her, and her name is Marissa. Victoria and the other one. Sorry, I'm looking up something. I'm like, where is it? Anyway. Oh, Ambrosia? See you later, take care. Yeah, it's Victoria, Ambrosia, and Samuel. And then you have Bellica, aka Blake. better reference for this. I'm trying to be more active with streaming, and also I should probably just try to do more of my YouTube in general. So I figured try to do more with it than I have been in the past. Likely get strap based one. And I'm working on the next slice of life, and it will involve Tree Star's parents. I can't show it, unfortunately, because of the lifestyle of her parents. So that will be something interesting to see later. That was extra feisty. Sorry, I didn't mean to. You can see why I'm not as jabbery all the time, because I kind of just let it all out and then I'm done. And then people are like, how come you don't talk a lot? I'm like, I say what I want to say and then I'm done. A wholesome slice of life you can't show. Well, because for the most part, Tree Star's parents are nudists and hippies. So kind of hard to show that. Although technically it is allowed on YouTube, I'm still not gonna take that chance. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna not do it, not show it. It is technically allowed, but I'm not gonna take my chances. No, it's not even that. It's just they're just having a conversation with her, but they're naked. She's not, but they are. And she usually doesn't mind being naked, as well, but because she's been hanging around public school for a while now, she's kind of become more modest about it. Especially when getting tips from Tiffany and Taffy. I mean, of course she was going to wear clothing anyway because of the school that she goes to, but once she started being friends with those two, that's when she was getting some tips of certain standards. Like, you could totally see Tiffany and Taffy giving her tips about how to attract boys. And then Tree Star does not participate in the after games, or the victory games for football. Jesus Christ. There we go. Took a while. Should just be a little bit more out, since she's a wolf. There we go. Okay, let's do more with her hair. The tail. Her tail will be easy. Yeah, I think this was better than just this one. Give it a more layered hairstyle. Could totally see her struggling to have fun on her off time. Like she doesn't know what to do outside of work. So she probably has like some girlfriends that help her loosen up. But then she's like right back into work mode because that's like the thing she knows best. Yeah, I've thought about her quite a bit since then, because there's like several positions she could be in terms of like character personality and development. Like she could be like just the person companies call when their brands are struggling, and she's there to like boost it all up in whatever means necessary. Or she could be given like the big Burgerz position and be like, really, a fast food thing, and she's like trying to figure out how to make it more profitable. And then that's when the whole customer eating a ton of food and boosting their profits to her confusion. And then she goes to try to figure out, you know, what's good, what's bad, what can they do to improve, and stuff like that. Or she gets the position and just does whatever to make it better. So like whether it's figuring out how to make the food more addicting or whatever the case may be. So there's like several routes that she can go. And then with her personally, it could be like, you know, she's a hard ass at work, but then when she gets home, she just like passes the fuck out, or has like a friend or something that helps her loosen up after work. Or she does completely nothing and she just lounges around her apartment waiting for the next day to come, and she just like watches TV or something and eats like a refrigerated dinner or a microwave dinner. Yeah. Whatever fits best when the time comes. Would be neat to see her like be given a company that's already in the fucking dirt, and she has to like figure out how to just rise it back up. Or just being a complete cold hard ass. She's like, I don't care what the fuck you have to do to make this goddamn restaurant business go up, but fucking do it. And then like I would totally do the scene where one of the other executives are just like looking at her ass as she's having this giant meeting, and then she completely just scolds him. Is like, unless my ass is going to raise profits, you better be fucking paying attention. And they're like, yes, ma'am. And then one of them has like a snarky grin. It's like, you know, maybe her ass could. And she's like, and you better not be thinking what I think you're thinking. Whatever their name is at that point in time, because she just knows how all of them act at this point. She's like, I don't care whose ass you have to kiss, make it happen. Almost like, ironically, I gave her the same or a similar name. Almost like Helen from Daria. Basically like that. I think I like giving her the personality that she's just really proud of being in business and having like a bunch of achievements and just keep going. Like she doesn't necessarily care about how much money she has personally, like in a bank account or anything, but she cares about taking something that was like at basically zero and then boosting it up, and that just becomes part of her portfolio, and she just keeps going higher and higher and higher. And like this fast food restaurant thing, it's like a bit of a challenge because it's like, what can she do to make it better? And that's when she comes across that customer that's just like, you know, stuff in their face. Or even like have the customer start from the beginning, where it's like, you know, they get really into the food, and then that's when she notices that profits went up, and it's like, whoa, whoa, what's happening here? It's like, oh, sudden spike in profits in that area. It's like, why? And then she goes to investigate to see if they're like, you know, did something change in the recipe? Is there something specific that happened? Taking notes, having conversations with their customer, and she's like, I don't care what you guys need to do, but keep this customer happy. And then they just go on from there, or whatever else happens. Like basically what happened with Tiffany, but like as a more canon character. And you know what? It would be nice if I gave her buttons on her top. Or I can make it like a more devious plot, where it's like the whole point of Big Burgerz is to fatten up a community of pigs or other similar creatures, or lesser creatures to be eaten later. Could be more devious like that. But then like a customer that's like outside of that view suddenly starts eating their burgers, and they're just like, wait, what? Or it could be like how Big Burgerz started. Like at first it was more of like a shady, I guess cannibalism would be the phrase for it, but like shady cannibal thing. But then somebody outside of the plan starts enjoying their food, and they're like, wait, what? And then go from there, and they're like trying to figure out why this person likes their food so much, and then it becomes just like a normal company. But just like really addicting food. And at first it was only in like a small location, so that way they could get away with it. But then once this happened, they're like, I think we can expand. Whichever way I decide on it. I'm just, at this point, I'm just throwing out ideas randomly. And whichever one I think fits the best will be the one I pick. But we're getting close to finishing her design. I think giving her a more lean look makes her more intimidating. And she'd probably be like rather tall or something. Which just adds to her being intimidating. Or like some coworker or some of her workers or whatever would probably try to make a joke about her or something. It's like, damn, all she needs is a good lay, and she's like, oh, I know a good lay. How about it's called laid off? How about that? How's that sound? And then they beg her to keep their job. And then she would probably say something like, all right, but you're on this duty for however long. Alright. And she'll probably be wearing makeup at some point, so I'll just do that. Nah. I won't use lines, I'll just do it later. Alright. That should be good enough. Now we can move on to coloring her. Good enough, good enough. It's like, leave it alone, don't go crazy. There we go. I'm gonna give her about like a grayish blue tint. Yeah, I was kind of thinking of like a 80s type of feel. I think 80s is what I'm thinking of. It's either 80s or 70s type of style to her. And then not all of her is like a separated color like most characters. Maybe like just the top part of her and her tail are alternate colors. And there is somehow a hole in there somewhere, but I will get to that another time. Let's do it here. Some of the top of her hair. Let's have about here. like Calibra, like or Calibra. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, she's just like the no-nonsense, very proud. Don't fuck with her jobs type of personality. And let's change things up a bit. Let's make it so that one side of her face is a little bit more lighter than the other. And then we can give her the typical white muzzle. We'll give her makeup on her. We'll give her eyeliner or eyeshadow at some point. Oh yes. And technically one of the main villains for World Gates is up there too. After next Monday, it's Monday? Hold on, let me check. After next Monday, we'll, if depending on how things go, I'll try to ramp things up on character bios and everything else that I want to do. I've just been like really reserved on working on anything major because I don't want to like start something and then suddenly I have to put it on hold because of other things coming up. But once that's passed, then I'd be like, alright, cool, I can go back to having fun. There we go. Would that hair be also white? Yeah, why not? Just do it. That's about as far as her white hair will go. And then the rest would be black. We can keep that one white and change that later. Nope, not so far. I've been checking emails just in case. Although technically, if I did get picked, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Or I'm not supposed to tell you. Making 1 year black actually looks nice. I'm gonna keep that. Probably, yeah. I would be more active if that was the case. Well, I'm assuming we're not going to find out until the 23rd. But if they are being generous with time, then they probably would inform people sooner than later. Unless they're just gonna be really cheeky about it and be like, okay, we on the 23rd, like we're gonna announce to everybody that got picked, and then hopefully those people were already working on their comics prior to that, even though we weren't gonna tell anybody anything. So it's like, damn. Like they have a very bad practice of how they run this contest. Because they expect everybody to be working on their stuff regardless of if they get picked or not. And then even if they don't win in the contest, they can still get picked after the fact, which is annoying. Because at that point it's like, well damn, what was the fucking point then? I wish that was the case, shit. That would be something. I could see somebody like being in an elevator with Helen, this character, and they get super intimidated by her to the point where they miss their floor, or they don't notice that their floor has come up. And like I could see them like thinking about her, seeing like, oh, what if something happened and they ended up doing something in the elevator, and then all of a sudden she just says, "Are you getting off?" And they're like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "This is your floor, right?" They, "Oh yes, sorry," and then they just leave. I could see that whole scenario happen. This would likely be more of her hair. Yes, this is the owner, or this is the CEO of Big Burgerz. So one of her ears is black or dark gray. And she just has the attitude like she does not want to be bothered, but she knows she has to interact with people. She's like, as much as as it pains me to talk to you, what is it? Yeah, I should probably add those lines. Do that in a bit. I could see like something at the end where after she makes Big Burgerz successful, someone just kind of drops a question on her and just says, "Have you ever heard of big bitches?" And she's like, "Go on," and it just ends there. Or like she takes like a type of strip club that's like not very popular and just finds a way to make it better. Even with like the not very popular women or whatever dancers that they plan on using. She's like, "All right, what do we have to work with?" And then she sees the girls and she's just like, "Jesus Christ." And just kind of like sits there for a moment, like, "All right," tries to see what she can do. And then like I could totally see her like explaining like, make sure your dances are whatever, and the girls are like, "What do you mean?" And so she just like not even with no hesitation just gets on stage and just starts doing like a pole dance or something and explaining while she's doing it with like no embarrassment or anything. She just does it. And then like I don't know, like maybe one male coworker is there to see her do it and is like shocked to see her performing. And then he like lets the other coworkers know what he saw, and they're like, "Bullshit, like there's no way that she did that." And she just continues on as if nothing happened. Like nobody believes the guy. Nah, that never happened with Marcy. Zero reason for her to do it. Alright. Would she? Nah, I think doing her nails red would be too much. Could see her nails matching her her hair though. The outfit would definitely be different. Wait, so what color was this? Like a red, brownish red. What am I doing? I always keep doing this the hard way. Just do that and just erase the leg part. Duh. Do that. this a little bit larger so we can see the lines. That's better. 50%, 70. I think the 70 makes her more serious. 50 isn't too bad either. I think I'll go with 50 just so it stands out a little bit better. You can also see her, like, when she does go to talk to the customer, she, like, grabs some napkins and just kind of puts them on the seat so that she doesn't get her outfit dirty. I could see her being a bit of a neat freak. Yeah, they even put the glitch trap skin, and the glitch trap skin has like slightly different animations compared to the regular Springtrap skin. Like instead of yelling, he tells you to be quiet. Like he just does like a shush moment or a movement. So he's like really creepy. I hope they add in Foxy because it's kind of weird that he's the only animatronic that they didn't put in the game, other than a plushie. So it makes me wonder if he's going to be another character to be playable. So yeah, it would be cool if Foxy gets added, and he also has the security camera mechanic that Springtrap has. But then, of course, he's gonna have his own abilities, like being able to run pretty quickly or something. But that's just me speculating because it's interesting that his animatronic is not in there. mixing up a few spots here and there. I don't like the red. She probably doesn't even need the eyeshadow. Just to see how it looks when it's black. Nah, let's go with her with a more natural look. Like, we can still make it look like it's eyeshadow, but it's just her fur. Let's see, I do want this from red. She fit into Hellhounds. It's like, we got enough going on with Hell. Thank you very much. I could see her coworkers nicknaming her a Hellhound because of how brutal she can be. It's like, you don't want to piss off the Hellhound, and like a new coworker's like, "What, Hellhound?" It's like, is she half demon, or is she half fiend or demon or whatever the case may be, and you're like, no, it's just this is a nickname for her. They just call her a hellhound. Now the question is, if she were to be sexually frustrated, what would she do, and who would she do it to? She would probably look at her work schedule and see who's like the busiest, or who's not the busiest, or is working in like the most non-essential part of the company. And then it's just a matter of personal preference too. She'd be like, do I really want to fuck him? Or it could be even worse, where she just doesn't think about it at all and just grabs a random worker. And then after she's done, they're all trying to be all like sweet to her or something, and she's like, "Get to work, or I'll have you written up for sleeping with a coworker or some bullshit." And he's like, "What? You're the one that grabbed me?" And she just glares at him, and they just say, "Yes, ma'am." Get back to work. Cleaning up her tail a bit. Could see her wearing like a small watch around her wrist underneath her coat. That way she could just look at her wrist and be like, alright, it's this time. And then can do her lenses towards the end. Alright, think I'm gonna call it for now. Excuse me. Since it's already getting close to the 3-hour mark. And then we'll have time to finish her up anyway. So yeah, this is our base art so far. But yeah, this will be the CEO of Big Burgerz, in charge of raising profits and keeping customers. And she'll probably do that $1,000 or 1,000 customer contest thing at some point and make that canon after a certain point. Go take a nap if I'm young. Maybe I will. But yeah, so I'll come back tonight to finish her off, and then if I have time, then I'll work on something else. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and you guys have a good day, evening, night,